A Sioux Falls family is enjoying their first summer as a family of 6 after their 4th son, ASHER, joined the family in November.
Well, and tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, why their baby brother with a big smile is one incredibly rare baby.
He was definitely a surprise.
When the FJERKENSTADs broke the news about another baby coming to the family, surprise doesn't quite cover what their 10, 8, and 6-year-old boys were feeling.
I was like, what?
Once they came to terms with another sibling, everyone had the same thought.
We were like, oh, maybe it'll be a girl.
Yeah. But he came home exactly like their 3 other baby boys.
Left the hospital, he was jaundiced. But again, all of our babies had been jaundiced, and so that really wasn't a trigger for us either.
But unlike his 3 older brothers, his time on the Billy blanket did nothing to help his numbers go down.
It was actually Thanksgiving morning that we had lab work done, and when we got the results back, it had like shot up off the charts. And the doctor on call is like, you need to go to the ER.
At 10 days old, the once healthy ASHER was now struggling in the pediatric ICU with no answers as to why.
The ER is when they started calling him an anomaly. They didn't know what was wrong with him, and that was really scary to hear.
I came in to see him in our ICU the morning after he had been admitted.
Then they met Sanford pediatric gastroenterologist Brock Doubledy, who first discovered ASHER'S unlikely diagnosis.
I got a look at his labs, and it was very clear that he was in acute liver failure. Very unusual to be in that degree of liver failure at that age.
After many tests, they still don't know why his liver failed so soon in life. But the next step to save him was clear.
The decision was made pretty quickly to send him for a liver transplant.
Devastated me in that moment.
Gretchen and ASHER were airlifted to Omaha for the very specialized procedure.
Not a lot of pediatric liver transplant centers in the country. There's probably, I don't know, 20.
At first, the team in Omaha had hoped to find a living donor for baby ASHER.
That's when we put kind of the APB out on social media, being like, hey, do you have typo blood?
And that blew up.
We would get messages from like Alaska, North Carolina.
Rhode Island, Maine. I got from Florida, Texas. I even went through the process of being a living donor, and then they more or less said, you're too big, your liver's too big.
It only took a few days for the transplant team to realize a living donor wouldn't work for little 8-pound ASHER.
When they said, okay, we got to stop, we're going to have to wait for someone that's his size because he's so small.
Yeah, which would mean a deceased donor. They put him priority 1A, which is top of the nation.
It took 5 days from the time baby ASHER arrived in Omaha until it was time to hand him over to the surgical team for his transplant.
I kept asking, is this the youngest you've ever had?
I think he was 16 days old when he got his transplant. Very far and away the youngest transplant patient that I've got.
Since his transplant in December, baby ASHER has grown much stronger.
He's done wonderfully well. Surprisingly, the transplant success numbers in kids that are less than a month of age are actually very high success rate because their body hasn't developed a full immune system yet.
He gets 6 meds every morning.
But starting life out with a transplant comes with some lifelong complications.
He'll be on medication for the rest of his life. We have to keep him very protected as far as the sun because he's on immunosuppressants. He's at a higher risk for all kinds of cancer.
His lowered immune system also means increased danger from everyday illnesses.
We all got stomach flu in April, but with him it turned into a trip down to Omaha because his numbers went crazy. He had to have 2 biopsies.
2 biopsies.
It just turned into this huge thing that might be the rest of his life. Every time he gets a bad virus, that it is much more complicated. And when you have 3 other kids living in the house, you know, we can't shield them from everything.
While he's certainly brought a lot of change to their lives, especially during their nearly 3 months living as a family in Omaha's Ronald McDonald House right during the height of COVID cases.
That made it hard because we basically had to stay in our rooms with our boys. Thanksgiving was in the hospital. My son's birthday was in the hospital. My birthday was in the hospital. Christmas, New Year's, like we had gone through all of these celebrations in the hospital.
The FJERKENSTAD boys still clearly adore their baby brother.
He's so cute. I think I'm his favorite brother because anytime I walk into the room or he sees me, he smiles.
They say every day they get with their now healthy, growing baby boy is a gift that came with a high price.
The first anniversary of his transplant is also like one family's anniversary that, you know, they're going to be mourning this next year. And so I think that it'll be bittersweet every year.
They hope to one day connect with the family who chose to donate life, even through the loss of their own child, giving the gift of continued joy to this Sioux Falls family.
For us, he's like our happy hope. He is a very joyful baby, but just spreading the message of hope, that even when things are really dark, there's always a way to hope.
He just melts your heart.
You do what you got to do, and they were doing it.
Oh my gosh,
he's a journey.
He's a blessing, though. Asher did end up needing a younger deceased donor. Many people living right now need that life-saving liver transplant. They use a living donor.
Yeah, so follow the link with this story on KELOLAND.com to see how anyone can sign up to help others experiencing the same acute liver failure who are still waiting on their life-saving donation.